Implementing the continuous improvement process in the Clark County School District. My name is April Black and I am the Director of the School Improvement Department in the Clark County School District. I started working in the School Improvement Department during the 2013-2014 school year and have worked in the Clark County School District for 23 years. I served as a member of the core design team in the development of the Continuous Improvement Process Beta and the design of the School Performance Plan, a roadmap to success. I continue to be an advocate for this work and am deeply invested in ensuring the process and product are meaningful and useful for the end user, as well as meeting the needs of federal and state requirements. I have the pleasure of leading this team of dedicated and committed individuals who support the school CI teams with the new continuous improvement process. These individuals work tirelessly to ensure success at the building level with the implementation of the continuous improvement process and development of the SPP roadmap. This team is not only learning the new process themselves, but is also developing and delivering professional learning sessions, creating tools and resources, and providing one-on-one assistance to CI team leads as they prepare to facilitate events with their staff and engage community members in the process. They are also working with building leaders to evaluate the implementation of the plan as they engage in the status check meetings, and will assist school teams with the year-end reflection as they begin to make adjustments to the SPP roadmap for the 2022-2023 school year. We will begin our presentation by addressing the question, how did your district prepare for the rollout of the newly redesigned continuous improvement process and the SPP roadmap to success? Since we are a G Suite district, we utilized the RC Share folder and uploaded a plan template for each school, along with an evidence folder and the status tracker spreadsheet. We also created a School Performance Plans Google Shared Drive to enable the district's school improvement team to house optional resources and guidance documents developed by the CCSD School Improvement Department. As you can see, we added quite a few resources we felt would be helpful to our CI teams, and many were also shared with districts across the state. A CCSD timeline was created early on to assist CI teams with staying on track with the event requirements and ensuring deadlines were met by the school teams, so the district would in turn meet the state's deadline of submitting plans by November 30th, 2021. To prepare for the rollout of the CIP and SPP roadmap, CCSD's School Improvement Department reviewed all of the draft materials provided to the core design team members. As the team read through the facilitation guide and reviewed the slide decks and handouts, they looked for opportunities to strengthen the resources and provided feedback to ensure consistency throughout the documents. Feedback was captured directly in each document and provided to the NDE UPD team for consideration. As the team identified tools or resources, we communicated our ideas to the Nevada Department of Education and then to UPD using the Padlet created for this purpose. We understood schools would need regular communication regarding this new process, and we backward mapped a communication plan that ensured that CI teams knew what support was available, what needed to be worked on, and reminded them of the due dates. The Clark County School District has a weekly publication called the Weekly Wire, which is our district's way of communicating with school-based employees. In addition, building administrators provided contact information regarding who would be serving as the CI team lead at each of the sites, and regular communication to these individuals was provided through a dedicated email list. CCSD educators and the school improvement team participated in the state's training during the summer months as another way to prepare for the statewide rollout of the new CIP and SPP roadmap. We also had the opportunity to collaborate with other district school improvement leaders throughout weekly collaboration meetings with team members of the Nevada Department of Education Office of Student and School Support. These meetings allowed us to bounce ideas off of each other while also communicating needs to the Nevada Department of Education. Finally, our preparation included the development of a professional learning plan as we considered the best ways to prepare our school-based teams at CCSD schools in a variety of ways. First, we created videos that provided a high-level overview, the intended outcome of each event, reviewed the prep work that was necessary to complete prior to holding the meeting, and gave schools access to information on demand so they could engage in the learning at a time when it was convenient for them. Next, we scheduled professional learning sessions to dig deeper into the materials with the school's CI team leads, which ensured that they would possess the knowledge and ability to facilitate each event at the school site. The PL sessions were scheduled weekly on Wednesdays, and we plan to offer both a morning session and an afternoon session, with one offered virtually and the other in person. For convenience, the PL sessions were scheduled to be held in each of the district's 3 region locations for a total of 6 professional learning sessions each week. The virtual PL sessions were to be recorded to offer opportunities for CI team leads to review the information as many times as necessary and to ensure all school teams had access to the information in case they were unable to attend any of the sessions. We also recognized that schools may struggle with scheduling 5 separate meetings with their CI team at the beginning of the school year. Therefore, we plan to offer the opportunity for teams to work at a central location, to complete the data analysis and needs assessment dialogue, root cause analysis, and to finalize the SPP roadmap in one full-day session. As an added support, we plan to offer office hours each week on Thursdays to ensure schools were able to get the information they needed through question and answer sessions or to receive additional support and guidance as they engaged in the work at the school level. Cheryl, will you walk us through what it looked like when the school year began and we prepared to implement the professional learning plan?
In early August, we returned to work only to hear that the professional learning plan needed to be modified due to the increase of positive cases from the COVID-19 Delta variant. The training locations previously reserved within each region were turned into COVID testing sites for the school district. In addition, rather than both in-person or virtual sessions, we shifted the professional learning sessions to a virtual setting to ensure the health and safety of the presenters and attendees. As a team, we developed the professional learning sessions for the continuous improvement CI team leads, starting with events 1 and 2. However, within a few days of returning, we learned that the School Improvement Department project facilitators, along with other central office project facilitators, were being temporarily pulled to provide classroom coverage. Due to the new COVID variant, Clark County School District's only online school, Nevada Learning Academy, NVLA, had a massive influx of student enrollments, which left them in need of licensed educators to teach our students. We quickly worked with leadership to make determinations about how we would be able to adequately support schools with facilitating the process at their site, and once again modified our professional learning plan to support with the rollout of the new continuous improvement process. Each week for 5 weeks, we built professional learning for each event and delivered the training with the goal of familiarizing CI team leads with the materials and resources available to facilitate Act 1. To accommodate varying school schedules, we offered Train the Trainer sessions in the morning and afternoon. We developed a consistent structure for the sessions that reviewed meeting goals and objectives, the required prep work, and walked the CI team leads through the facilitation guide and the slide deck. We embedded opportunities for participants to ask clarifying questions and directed them to the resources available to support the work. This, of course, included the Padlet developed by the Nevada Department of Education. As we engaged in conversations with schools, we identified opportunities to develop supplemental resources that our schools needed in order to successfully conduct each event. We created a variety of resources such as sign-in sheets and agendas, a community outreach survey, goal-setting guidance, and linked them in one guidance and resources document for all schools to utilize during the process. As we developed supplemental resources, it was determined that CI team leads may not have adequate information to prepare for and facilitate Event 5 at their school. In order to assist schools with this event, it would be necessary to create a facilitation guide, slide deck, and supplemental materials for CI team leads. For those that could not attend the Train the Trainer sessions, each training was recorded and playbacks were made available to all CCSD employees through the Employee Learning Management System, as well as our School Performance Plan Google Shared Drive. CCSD's Data Services team created a report that assisted schools with the school information table required in the SPP roadmap. This document eliminated the need to visit 6 different sources for the data required to complete this table. After each Train the Trainer session, we held weekly virtual office hours and one-on-one appointment slots to assist schools with any questions regarding the preparation and facilitation of the event. This meant that during the first 2 months of the school year, the department was developing and delivering professional learning sessions, hosting office hours, and working one-on-one virtually with CI team leads. We were busy. In late September, we scheduled in-person work sessions for schools to collaborate on events 3 through 5. We created binders with materials and resources for each event for schools to utilize during the collaboration and ensure that all CCSD COVID protocols were followed. Work session participants reviewed the outcomes of the first 2 events and used this information to complete events 3, 4, and 5. School improvement representatives were present to assist them with questions, resources, and support to ensure they met the goal of completing the SPP roadmap during this session. Many schools expressed appreciation for the dedicated location, time, and support, and felt they were able to compose a thorough plan because of this work session. Using the rubric co-created by various LEAs and the NDE, we created a Google form to assist with reviewing plans for completion and used the results to provide feedback to principals and CI team leads. After we reviewed a plan, we provided the feedback to the school leaders and notified region leadership of the status of the plan. We communicated status updates to region leadership on a daily basis. Once school leaders addressed the feedback provided, region leaders reviewed plans for approval. To help region leadership approve plans, we developed a checklist that outlined all of the required and recommended items in the SPP roadmap.
Jonna, will you share what happened in Clark after SPPs were submitted to the state?
In December, we read and reviewed SPP roadmaps to identify district-wide themes and learn more about specific areas where the School Improvement Department can provide additional support. Using our experiences from working with schools and what we gleaned from our initial review, we developed a Google form to capture what schools had documented in their plans. We read each SPP to compile information about the root causes that were commonly identified, what goals had been established, the improvement strategies that schools planned to implement to meet their goals, and the challenges that were identified. We gathered additional information to inform the specific support that schools might need from the School Improvement Department moving forward. We wanted to learn whether root causes were focused on adult actions within the school's areas of control and included only 1 or 2 of the most critical root causes. We also looked at whether the goal, improvement strategies, and intended outcomes were aligned within each inquiry area, the extent to which schools followed our supplemental action step guidance, whether the equity supports were differentiated, and if solutions to the challenges were included. Anything that did not fit in the most common categories was noted as other. We used Jamboards to sort and categorize the other root causes, goals, improvement strategies, and challenges that schools cited. After we sorted the list of others, we identified commonalities and themes within and among each inquiry area. This information was visualized with the goal of sharing the data with a variety of leaders, divisions, and departments to enable the district to respond to the identified needs for further professional learning and technical assistance. Due to Event 6 status check being waived for the current school year, we worked during the month of December to prepare support for the first status check Event 7. We created and shared an overview video of the Act 2 process, gathered additional resources for data analysis, and developed handouts that could be used to help teams structure their meeting. We developed a Train the Trainer professional learning session to review the Act 2 process and the available guidance and resources. As an additional support, a facilitation video for Act 2 was recorded for CI team leads to use during their meetings. To further minimize the burden on school-based staff, we added the goals, improvement strategies, intended outcomes, and aligned STIP goals to each school's status tracker document. This allowed time for school teams to focus on the important status check conversations rather than preparing the document. The School Improvement Department coordinated with district leadership and the Budget Department to develop for the first time a comprehensive guide to support schools with the plan of operation as required by NRS 388G. We began planning in earnest for the support that we would provide to schools during the Event 7 status check window. We also continued to support schools with providing classroom coverage due to the newest COVID-19 variant, Omicron.
Marianne, please share how the CCSD educators were supported with the next phase of the continuous improvement process, Act 2, Navigating Our Course.
As Jonna just mentioned, the Act 2 Status Check 7 was aligned to the timeline for CCSD's plan of operation. Principals were provided a strategic budget guide, which included expectations for completing the status tracker for Event 7 and updating their SPP. The SPP revisions included adding ESSER 3 funds, revising the language for the Equity Support section, as well as any changes resulting from the Now Next Need conversations. The School Improvement Department again provided various means of direct and indirect support to schools as they engaged in the next phase of the CIP. The rollout of Act 2 Event 7 Status Check support commenced with the facilitation of 2 virtual Train the Trainer professional learning sessions with over 185 attendees. In order to extend that training to individuals who were unable to attend a live session, a playback was made available. The 2 sessions presented CI team leads with the information necessary to conduct the status check meetings with their school CI teams. The sessions provided administrators a platform to ask clarifying questions and to observe a live demonstration on how to complete the status tracker. As with previous events, it was essential to make individualized assistance available to schools. CI team leads selected from 1-hour appointment slots for assistance with preparing for their school status check meeting or 15-minute appointments for a brief question and answer dialogue. In an effort to provide differentiated supports, CSI schools received communication regarding the availability of appointments prior to offering assistance to the rest of the district. Since submission of the status tracker was a part of each school's plan of operation, department team members attended the new principal strategic budget work sessions to provide guidance and assistance alongside representatives from the Leadership Development, EL Title I, and the budget departments.
Renee, can you talk about the additional resources we created for Act 2?
During the 1-hour appointment slots with schools, guidance was provided on preparation and facilitation of a status check meeting with stakeholders. Our team created a site-specific, condensed slide deck that included a menu of tools and resources that schools could utilize to assist them in this process. Other tools included an agenda, a team roles resources, a facilitation video, a printable handout of the Now Next Needs guidance questions, map progress monitoring tools, as well as reference documents on downloading the status check and a Google Sheets quick reference guide. In preparation for these appointments, we created each school a site-specific slide deck draft that included their SPP goals and improvement strategies, as well as data visualization examples that could be used to frame their conversations. Appointments also included information about updates and additional resources connected to the final submission of their school's plan of operation to region leadership. CCSD utilizes a data dashboard made available to school administrators and their teams, allowing them ease of access and the ability to have data right in the moment they need it. The quarterly progress monitoring report was designed to provide administrative and CI teams access to quarterly data that was integral in monitoring their SPP roadmap. Quarter 1 and 2 enrollment, attendance, behavior, map growth, projected proficiency, grade distribution, and college and career readiness data were available, as well as relevant prompts that could be used to guide discussions and inform critical decisions. The quantitative data visualizations in the quarterly progress monitoring tool could be exported as a PowerPoint slides for use during status check meetings in NDA slide deck, CCSD's condensed slide deck, or in a format of their choosing. Each indicator area in the QPM report also included direct links to even more comprehensive data that could be disaggregated further by specific thresholds, such as counts, demographics, grades, courses, teachers, and time periods. The School Improvement Department in Clark County is proud to have provided direct and indirect support to schools a total of 3,348 times and counting.
Cassie, will you please share what we are working on next as we continue to support CCSD educators with the continuous improvement process?
After supporting our schools with Event 7, we debriefed as a team. The purpose behind the debrief was to discuss the implementation of the first status check with our schools. What was successful? What additional supports did they need that we didn't foresee? Of the supports we prepared, which were regularly used? Which were unnecessary or should be altered to better benefit CCSD schools? As a team, we hold these debrief discussions at the conclusion of any major projects to ensure the information is fresh in our minds and we don't forget any of the minor details we learned throughout the implementation. We also solicited feedback from our schools to gather their input on preferred methods of support, such as virtual office hours and appointment slots, or in-person sessions and the location that would be most convenient for them, any challenges they faced as they worked through the CIP so far, whether it was a specific event that was challenging or any open-ended input they may have, and we asked for any suggestions they might have to help us meet their needs in the future. Is there some type of support that would be helpful that we haven't thought of? Some resource we haven't designed? We received many specific comments about challenges in the CIP process. Many people stated the time it took and the lengthiness as challenging aspects for their teams. We also gathered input on the most meaningful aspects of the CIP. Many CI team leaders mentioned an appreciation for the opportunity to dedicate time to review and analyze their data, and that many of the resources were helpful. Finally, we asked about our support thus far and how to improve it moving forward. In this section, we received positive feedback on the resources, our availability to meet with schools, and how we made the process easier for CI teams to understand. We also were given a few ideas for how to improve our support moving forward. The data CCSD School Improvement compiled from our SPP analysis and debrief sessions were shared in a division meeting with the Assessment, Accountability, Research, and Data Services departments. We are working collectively to ensure that the RC division in CCSD is informed and collaborative in our efforts to support schools with analyzing the impact of their school improvement efforts, meeting the needs of their students, understanding the thoughts of their stakeholders, and successfully implementing any initiatives required of them. We continue to share the SPP analysis data with district leadership and other divisions and departments within CCSD. The goal is to establish a central support network that works to continuously improve our support to meet the ever-changing needs of the Clark County schools. As we continue to review the information from our debrief discussion and feedback survey, we are discussing how we can refine our supports for Event 8 to ensure our schools can smoothly implement the final status check. In addition, the team is brainstorming ideas around Act 3. We are again developing additional guidance and supplemental materials that may be necessary to help schools successfully conduct Act 3 in the fall of the next school year. We began this brainstorming process by reviewing the resources on the Padlet. We realized that our schools may encounter some changes, such as shifts in leadership, enrollment, or staffing, that may affect how they implement Act 3 at their schools. These changes may require a more detailed revision, while other schools may make minor changes to their plan. Because these possibilities exist, the major focus of our department is to offer a differentiated approach as we develop our guidance, resources, and support for year 2 of the CIP.
Greg, will you please share your thoughts to address the question? What specifically would you ask of the Nevada Department of Education as a partner in school improvement?
The Clark County School District looks forward to the continued partnership with the Nevada Department of Education, specifically in the areas that are focused on providing our school sites with a process that is efficient and aligned to the expectations of the district. Ideally, we would be able to continue to meet regularly with a focus on preparing in advance for each event within the continuous improvement process and working to integrate areas that contribute to the success of the process, including the release of student outcome data aligned to the schedules to properly plan. Additionally, we find it to be essential to evaluate all timelines related to the continuous improvement process to ensure we have alignment with the actions required in other areas. We should include an evaluation of the budget cycle, data release schedule, and plan of operation requirements in future meetings to ensure we are removing redundancy and aligning as best as possible. This is a really valuable process and is changing the mindset of our educators away from seeing the SPP as a compliance document and toward a living document that is guiding continuous improvement efforts. Ensuring those closest to the work are engaged in timely, relevant, and appropriate communication with the Nevada Department of Education is so important. It is also important to solicit input from LEAs and collaborate with districts to establish clear guidelines and expectations for the CIP and roadmap moving forward. We have learned so much this year as we implemented this new process. We can't lose sight of the lessons learned as they should inform our next steps. The state recognizes the importance of soliciting feedback from stakeholders and ensuring voices are heard as schools develop their plans. It is important that that expectation is modeled at the state level, perhaps through communities or other collaborative opportunities for engagement. It would be great for the state to identify exemplars and provide additional guidance on CIP components, such as intended outcomes, ESSA evidence levels, and addressing resource inequities in a SPP roadmap. This step would ensure the guidance and support provided by district personnel is aligned to the vision of the Nevada Department of Education and would ensure consistent messaging. Finally, if we want to improve outcomes for students and meet our established goals as a state, we need to adopt quality Tier 1 instructional materials in all content areas and offer professional learning to all of Nevada's educators. The lack of solid Tier 1 instruction and professional learning for educators is something we saw over and over again as a challenge in SPP roadmaps.
On behalf of the School Improvement Department and the Clark County School District, thank you for the opportunity to share our CIP implementation story with you.